For 24 years, Concorde, the fastest passenger airplane ever built. It flew twice the speed of sound, cutting the flight times in half, redefining the air travel, and it had never crashed. But on 25th July 2000, everything changed. Just seconds before taking off from Paris, something went terribly wrong, and within 2 minutes, the legendary supersonic jet was destroyed. What investigators discovered later was shocking, because the entire disaster was caused by something incredibly small. Air France Flight 4590 lined up on the runway at Charles de Gaulle Airport. The engines roared as the Concorde accelerated rapidly, pushing its speed over 300 km per hour. Everything seemed normal until
Watch out!
a loud blast echoed through the cabin, and one of the airplane's tires had exploded violently. But this wasn't just a tire failure. In this exact moment, a deadly chain reaction had begun. When the tire exploded, its fragments were thrown at incredible speed into the bottom of the wing. The impact sent a shockwave through the structure, rupturing a fuel tank inside the wing. Fuel immediately began leaking out, and within seconds, it ignited near the engines. Now the Concorde was accelerating down the runway with a fire burning beneath its wing, and the pilots had no time to react. At that speed, the airplane had already passed a critical point known as V1. In aviation, this is the moment where a takeoff can no longer be aborted. Slamming the brakes would have been more dangerous, so despite the fire and damage, the pilots had no choice but to continue the takeoff. The Concorde lifted into the air, already in a critical condition. As the aircraft climbed, the situation escalated. One engine began to lose power, while another was affected by the fire. The Concorde struggled to gain altitude. The pilots attempted to turn back for an emergency landing, but the aircraft was too heavy and damaged. It simply couldn't climb. Just 2 minutes after takeoff, the Concorde lost control. It crashed into a hotel located near Paris in the town of Gounies. All 109 people on board were killed, along with 4 people on the ground. The world had just witnessed the first and only fatal crash of the Concorde. But what caused this disaster? Investigators soon discovered something unbelievable. Just 2 minutes before Concorde took off, another aircraft had departed from the same runway, and during its takeoff, a small titanium strip had fallen off that plane. It remained on the runway, unnoticed. And when Concorde accelerated for takeoff, one of its tires slammed into the strip, and that single piece of metal triggered the explosion that started the entire chain of events. After the crash, engineers redesigned the parts of the aircraft, reinforcing fuel tanks and improving tires, but the damage to its reputation was already done. And in 2003, the Concorde fleet was permanently retired, bringing an end to the era of the fastest supersonic passenger travel.